Next up, let's talk about Colorado at Oregon. So obviously, Colorado's coming into
Speaking of
this.
a finesse team.
Yeah, very much the definition of that. Coming to this team 3-0. They obviously coming off the victory over Colorado State, where they won 43-35 in I think double overtime. Shedeur Sanders, another good game, 38 of 47, complete for 47 times, 38 of 47 for 348 yards and 4 touchdowns. The other side of the ball, they obviously their offense is racking up a lot of yards of points. The other side of the ball, though, they're 105th in college football regarding the scoring, opposition scoring. So they are not stopping the other teams from scoring. They're not. I mean, especially if they have any type of pulse. TCU and Colorado State both scored a lot, and I would say they're probably not one of the more. They don't have that much more talent in Colorado, so you got to be concerned where you go to like a Oregon USC the next couple of weeks to have a lot more talent that could score. What are you going to be able to do to stop them? And then Travis Hunter obviously is not going to be available with the lacerated liver out for a few weeks. So they're one of their bigger defensive and offensive players is out. They have a lot. Their back gets the wall, but every time they have their back gets the wall this year, they be able to get out of it and get a win. So it'd be interesting to see what they do. The Oregon, on the other hand, kind of quiet. You don't really see a lot of their games on TV or replays or anything. They're 3-0 this season. They're coming off a 55-10 victory over Hawaii. Their running back Noah Witten ran the ball 5 times last time for 80 yards, so he's doing pretty good. The running game is doing pretty good. Bo Nix had 3 touchdowns. He's doing pretty decent. 247 for quarterback rate 191. So pretty decent there. I think they're getting a lot of yards, scoring a lot of points. They are having some fights. They fought a good fight against Texas Tech. So I would say they're not like overly Oregon of the past, because obviously there's some teams that can give them fights, but they are a much talented team that Colorado has played up to this point. So what do you think is going to happen here, Jess?
I think Oregon is going to roll them. And I think it really kind of comes down to this one important thing. That's Travis Hunter is not going to be playing for the next few weeks for Colorado. And they're already having issues stopping the run. But Colorado State was able to just continuously beat them with like these drag routes, these short to intermediate kind of in breaking routes. They get a speedier receiver, and then the Dion and the coaching staff just wasn't really able to adjust. And it really came down to Shedeur Sanders having to kind of play hero ball. And I just, against a team as talented as Oregon, I don't think they're even going to have the opportunity to have Shedeur play hero ball in the fourth quarter. I mean, without Travis Hunter, they're not going to be able to cover Troy Franklin, Gary Bryant Jr., Tez Johnson, Trayshawn Holden, all who already have over 100 receiving yards. They've all got over 10 catches through 3 games. And in some of those games, they were able to just kind of rest these guys because they're beating everybody by so much. I mean, in the first game of the season, Oregon won 81-7. And then, like you just said, against Hawaii, 55-10. They had a bit of a shootout against Texas Tech, 38-30. So, it seems like I don't think Colorado is going to be unable to score. I just think Oregon's going to be able to get that stop or those 1 to 2 stops that they need just to really separate from Colorado. And I just don't think Colorado is going to be able to do the same without their best defensive player.
No, I tend to agree. I mean, if Travis Hunter was in this one, I still would say Oregon's going to win, but it might be closer
Yeah,
where he
no,
could be a little more explosive
yeah.
plays, maybe stop one of their better receivers on defense. But yeah, I mean, the part of the rebuild here is they're still building the talent. They have a really good front
Mhm.
line. They don't have the depth, I think, to go against the Oregon. So I do feel like this is a 21, 28 point victory for Oregon. They kind of just pull away. I mean, but they do have the offense that maybe score some points in Oregon. So I'm interested to see how if Oregon can slow that down at all. If they can't, then it could be a bit of a shootout. But I do think Oregon can end up winning the shootout.
Yeah,
So
no, but kind of just circling back to something we said earlier about, these not being able to run. I think a team like Florida State in a game against Clemson, I think it's going to be that Clemson is going to stop the run. Colorado seems unable to run. In each
yeah,
of their 3 games, their defenses are opposing them with what's known as like a light box. So they're not stacking against the run. Their teams are worried about Colorado's passing attack. And even though their defenses aren't really doing much to try and stop Colorado's running game, they're still not able to do much with it. So if they start getting into these teams that, even though the Pac-12 we don't think is like some defensive powerhouse conference, Oregon's going to have more better players capable of stopping a pass than Colorado State is, or even Nebraska. The Nebraska is in the Big Ten, and Big Ten, you think defense. So I think they're going to get into these games against Oregon and USC, and they're just going to have like that one or two guys that just are able to slow Colorado down even more. And I think that Colorado could be coming into a rough stretch here.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, definitely a rough stretch. I think next couple of weeks may put them on, get them out of the limelight a little bit because they're going to have a tough time, especially if Travis Hunter out winning some of these games. So, but yep, be interesting to watch how